as I was saying previously, when you want to get a 3D model, you either design it in CAD, you scan it with a 3D scanner, or you get the 3D printable files off of the internet. So let's talk about downloading the files first. So there are some excellent repository websites where you can go and search for and find STL files. This is how most people get their start with 3D printing. This is how I got my start with 3D printing. Just to give everybody that's watching today a heads up, about this time last year, I didn't know how to 3D print. I taught myself how to 3D print during COVID. I was stuck at home, working from home a lot. In the last 18 months. And so I made home work for me. And so I taught myself how to 3D print and developed these sessions, and now I'm providing training. So it's been such a great experience. But when I started, and still even now, most of the stuff that I'm printing, I'm finding on the internet and printing on my printers, making maybe little design tweaks here and there, but not a whole lot. So probably the two best repository websites for STL files is Thingiverse and Prusa printers. So these are links here on slide number 24. So you can just click on those logos and they'll take you to the websites. Thingiverse is great. Thingiverse has about 2 million STL files. So just a huge repository. It's a MakerBot website. So just understand that it's a little clunky sometimes when you're searching things, but there's a huge number of models there. Prusa Printers is a relatively new repository website. It's smaller with only about 100,000 files, but the files are really good and they're well vetted. And it's a really nice and easy to navigate website. Now there are a couple more. Pinshape I like. Thangs with an A. Thangs is pretty good as well. I have Cults on here too, but just do be aware Cults is not super school appropriate. Cults has some great models on it, but they do have a rather extensive adult section. So it's something you probably are not going to want to use with your students, but you can certainly search Cults and find some great 3D printable files. Cults is a little bit different where some are free and some are for purchase, whereas Thingiverse and Prusa printers, they're all free. Okay, now a couple of downloading tips. When you're downloading files from the internet, do definitely open, when you slice these objects, so when you open them in your slicer, before you send them to your printer, definitely look through the print preview section and look to make sure that everything looks right in the design, because these are files that people are just uploading to the internet. So nothing says that they're guaranteed to work or print well. As with anything that is uploaded to the internet, you never know entirely what you're going to get. And just like some information on Wikipedia isn't accurate because people are uploading to it, sometimes the models that people are uploading to these repository websites are not going to be top quality. So definitely, look at the print preview prior to printing to make sure that everything looks right and that the design is accurate. Thingiverse has an excellent education section. Remember, Thingiverse is a MakerBot product, and MakerBot has a great education line of printers. So take a look at those education sections because you'll find lesson plans and lots of really good examples of how to integrate with students. Look at the comments section. Look at the makes. So when someone makes an object that they downloaded from Thingiverse, they can actually post pictures of what they made and then offer tips, offer how they printed, the resolution and the speed and all of that kind of stuff, and what filament they used. If there's problems with the design, they might put a comment in there that said, hey, I noticed this problem, so I solved it this way. So those comment sections can be very, very helpful. Also, as I said, Thingiverse is a monster website. So use that search function in there when you're searching for things, because you're literally going to just be paging through millions of files otherwise. Okay, then now there's CAD. So if you want to try your hat at some design, you've got some options here. So CAD software, computer aided design, goes all the way back to the 60s. It's used in architecture, it's used in engineering, it's used in visual arts. So there are some really good CAD software packages out there, and lots of them are free for teachers and students. So probably your go-to tool for introducing students to CAD would be Tinkercad. So Tinkercad is an Autodesk product. Autodesk makes industry standard quality CAD software, and Tinkercad is a web-based design tool. So it's a web-based design tool. It is SOPA compliant. So it meets SOPA compliance for your districts to use with students. And it is a great entry point into design software. And what's so nice about it is browser-based, so it will work with your students on Chromebooks, and it's Google Classroom integrated. So you can share right to your Google Classroom. So if you're using Google Classroom as your learning management system with students, you can push right from Tinkercad into your Google Classroom to distribute information to your student. But like I said, it is a fantastic entry point for design software. Now, another good entry one is called SketchUp. SketchUp is not free, so it's subscription based, but it's a good and complete beginner package when it comes to designing. So again, it's good, but I would probably start with Tinkercad simply because it's free. Now, really, honestly, after your students get the hang of, or you get the hang of Tinkercad, your next logical step is Fusion 360. So Fusion 360 is, again, another Autodesk product, but it is industry standard, professional grade CAD software. It is what the professionals are using themselves. And so you can then move on to that. And what's so great about Fusion 360 is that you can get a free subscription for students and teachers. So there is free subscriptions for educators. It's kind of funny. What they will do is they will give you a 1 year, a quote unquote 1 year subscription, and then they will just simply forget to let it expire. So basically what happens is you sign up for a 1 year educator or student account, and it just doesn't expire. So it is free to use for educators and for students. And then my next one that I would recommend is Mesh Mixer. And Mesh Mixer, again, is another Autodesk product. It is free. And what it does is it is kind of, they call it the Swiss Army knife of design software, because it helps process the object. It allows you to smooth things or clean up a design. So oftentimes designing is your app smashing, and you're using a series of software where you might start a design in Tinkercad and go with something simple, and then maybe open it in Fusion 360 to do some more complex designing. And then let's say that my skull here that I'm designing needs some smoothing on the top. I'm going to open it in Mesh Mixer and lay down some mesh polygons to smooth that object out. So again, the design side of 3D printing is a whole nother workshop, to be honest with you, and something that I will be doing in the future for sure.